everyone, I'm Kelly of metric number 157371. I'm a first year medical physics student from School of Physics. My job is to become the script writer for this video presentation.
And I'm Yong from the Pure Physics Year 1 student. My matrix number is 157495. And my role is being the editor of this group video presentation.
Hi, good day everyone. I'm Seungmin with DB8003, a first year student currently taking pure physics, and my job is being the presenter of Group 47. Today, I'm going to talk about the magnetic levitation train. Imagine a train without wheels. Instead of rolling along the track, it quietly floats above and glides smoothly from origin to destination without ever touching a rail by using the basic principles of magnets to replace the old steel wheel and track trains. There is no trail friction to speak of, meaning these trains can hit speeds hundreds of miles per hour. This may sound like science fiction, but instance of this technology already exists in several places in the world. Levitation is the ability of the train to stay suspended above the track. There are two important types of levitation technology. First is electromagnetic suspension, or EMS, which uses the attractive force of electromagnetics placed on the guideway and on the train to achieve levitation. The benefits of this method are that it's simpler to implement than electrodynamics suspension, which will be discussed later, and that it maintains levitation at zero speed. The drawbacks are that the system is inherently unstable. It becomes difficult to maintain the correct distance between the train and the guide rails at high speed. If this distance cannot be kept, the train will fail to levitate and come grinding to a halt. To account for this, EMS requires complex feedback control systems to ensure the train is always stable. Next, I'm going to continue with electrodynamic suspension, which uses the repulsive force of superconducting magnets placed on the guideway and on the train to achieve levitation. The magnets move past each other while the train is running and generate repulsive force. This kind of electromagnet can conduct electricity even after the power supply has been shut off. The benefits of this method are that it is incredibly stable at high speed. Its drawbacks are that sufficient speed needs to be built up for the train to levitate at all. Additionally, this system is much more complex and costly to implement. Besides, an important element is the force of propulsion that drives the train forward. Maglev used an electric linear motor to achieve propulsion. A normal electric rotary motor uses magnetism to create torque and spin an axle. It has a stationary piece, the stator, which surrounds the rotating piece, the rotor. The stator is used to generate a rotating magnetic field. This field induces a rotational force on a rotor, which causes it to spin. A linear motor is simply an unloaded version of this. The stator is laid flat and the rotor rests above it. Instead of a rotating magnetic field, the stator generates a field that travels down its length. Similarly, instead of rotating force, the rotor experiences a linear force that pulls it down the stator. Thus, an electric linear motor directly produces motion in a straight line. However, this motor can only produce force while the rotor is above the stator. Once the rotor has reached the end, it stops moving. First and foremost, the main advantage of maglev train is the fact that it doesn't have moving parts as conventional trains do, and therefore the wear and tear of parts is minimal, and that reduces the maintenance cost to a significant extent. More importantly, there is no physical contact between the train and the track, so there is no rolling resistance. While electromagnetic drag and error friction do exist, that doesn't hinder their ability to clock a speed in excess of 200 miles per hour. Besides, the absence of wheels also comes as a boon, as you don't have to deal with the deafening noise that is likely to come with them. Apart from that, maglevs also boast of being environmental friendly, as they don't resort to internal combustion engines. Furthermore, these trains are weatherproof, which means rain, snow, severe cold don't really hamper their performance. Finally, another big benefit is safety. Maglev trains are driven by the powered guideway. Any two trains traveling the same route cannot catch up and crash into one another because they are being powered to move at the same speed. Similarly, traditional train derailments that occur because of cornering too quickly that cannot happen with maglev train. The further a maglev train gets from its normal position between the guideway wheels, the stronger the magnetic force pushing it back into place becomes. For the disadvantages, firstly, its cost is expensive. Since maglev is relatively new innovation and not a lot of companies offer this technology, this is why it is still quite costly, requiring railway companies to shell out a large sum of money just to install a single train. Besides, a complete linear of tracks is needed. Unlike other trains that can be purchased and installed on old tracks, maglev trains require their own unique set of tracks. This means before they can be put to use, the entire railway system would have to be replaced with maglev tracks. This won't only take a long time, but will also make it even more expensive to be funded. In a nutshell, if the advantage and disadvantage of these trains are pitted against each other, it can be a bit difficult to come to a concrete conclusion. While the high cost of initial setup is something that developer doesn't have to worry about. But obviously, we will have to do away with their disadvantages if we are to invest in maglev trains. Like someday we will be floating to our next destination. Thank you so much for lending me your eyes and ears. I hope this will be beneficial to you guys. Thank you for watching.